indices. These are called process capability indices. And CP and CPK, there are two things. And CP is potential process capability ratio. And you can call CPK as actual process capability index. This is potential and this is actual. There is a reason. And formula for getting the CP is specification width divided by process width. You know already specification width and process width. Specification width is USL minus LSL. Process width is 6 sigma. Do you understand? Formula for process width is 6 sigma. Now this sigma, how do you calculate the sigma? We'll talk about what you are calculating. If you use a particular sigma, that will give you CP/CPK. If you use some other sigma, that will give you PP/PPK. You have to be careful here, right? And now it is sigma, and you can use formula R bar by D2, the famous formula R bar by D2, right? We used already. We know R bar by D2 we use to get the sigma. And similarly for CPK, CPK is derived from CP only. The CP formula is divided into 2 of. That means specification width is divided into 2 parts. Half of the specification on the right side divided by 3 sigma. Half of the specification width on the left side divided by 3 sigma. That is called CP upper, CP lower. When I have USL on the right side, LSL on the left side, the center will be average, X bar, right? So we will understand that. So CP, CPK and PP, PPK are measures of potential and overall capability. Which is potential? Your CP and
PP and
PP, right? And CPK and PPK are called overall capability. At the same time, CP, CPK is separately called short-term capability. PP, PPK is called long-term capability. Sometimes we call CP, CPK as the capability indices, PP, PPK as the performance indices. Capability is different, performance is different. Right? What I am capable may be different, but what I deliver is what you experience. What is important to your customer? My capability or what I deliver? Which is important?
What you deliver.
What I deliver. That means PP, PPK is what is felt by your customer. Right? Then process information is reduced to a single number so that you can use capability statistics to compare the capability of one process to another process. Right? One trainer is doing like this, other trainer is doing like this. You can compare. One process is performing like this, other process is performing like this. You can compare. One machine is doing like this, other machine is doing like this. You can make a fair comparison with these matrices. And practitioners consider 1.33 to be a minimum acceptable value. Why? Because there are recommendations, industry standard. Generally, these guidelines are given by AIAG, Automotive Industry Action Group. According to them, minimum value of your CP/CPK or PP/PPK should be 1.33. If the process is critical, minimum requirement is 1.67. A value less than 1 indicates your process variation is wider than the specification spread, and we call the process definitely not capable. One is okay, but not enough. One is just capable, but 1.33 okay, because some room is required for some variation. You can't expect everything to go on exactly as per the plan. There will be changes always, variation always.
Sir, I have a question here. One.
Yes.
So the 1.33 you are mentioning, because in our cases during the development phase, before production start, there is a pre-production phases. We are going with 1.67.
Yes.
So is this whether that room is allowed to achieve this 1.33 or how it was?
See, both are guidelines. 1.33 is also.
Can I come, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can I come, sir?
Yes, please.
See, normally, when you venture into a new project,
Yes, sir.
you will be doubly careful. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes,
yes or no?
Yes.
And then after some time, you will be little careful. That's all. You don't have to be doubly careful, but you'll have to be careful. Yes or no?
Yes.
That is what this 1.67 and 1.33 means. That's all.
Okay, so both are as the age. guidelines, correct, sir? Both
If
are.
you are doubly careful when it is 1.67, you are giving very less chances for deviation beyond the specification limits, right?
Yeah.
Now, afterwards, you are now thorough with the process that it will never go. You are confident. Therefore, you are leaving it to 1.33. Okay.
Okay, sir. Understood.
Okay. So, of course, similar CPK and PPK, like your CP and PP, CPK and PPK. So the CPK as well as PPK takes into account two things. Your CP and PP takes into account only the spread. But for your success, two metrics are important. Not only spread, average is also important. Center is also important, right? So if you take center also into account, you will get these two metrics. The CPK and PPK are calculated taking into consideration not only the spread, but also the center of the process. Got it? So that's the difference. And now, why should I work with the CP and the CPK? PP and PPK? Can I just have one number which can give me the advantage of both CP and CPK? Which can give me the advantage of both PP and PPK? If you are interested in that, then you must learn about CPM. This is called an overall capability index. Is it clear? We talk about 6 metrics now, or CP, CPK, CPM, PP, PPK, PPM, right? If you know CP, you are talking about the spread in the process. What is your requirement? Spread should be low or spread should be high? Spread should be low.
Low.
If the spread is low, your CP will go high. If the spread is high, CP will come down. But keeping a low spread is not enough to make me capable. I should also know where is my process is centered. I should know my process center, and then I will check whether my center is on the target.
Yeah.
So CPK takes into account two things, not only the process spread, but also process average. So CPK is better than CP. But in order to draw my conclusion using CPK, I should not only know my process center, I should also know my customer target. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So, in order to replace the CP and CPK, I will go for another metric called CPM, which is overall capability index. This will work based on the spread and based on the customer target. Do you understand the difference? Based on the spread and the customer target. What is the difference between CPK and CPM? CPK considers spread and process average. What is process average? X bar.
Spot.
But what is important to your business? Is it X bar is important or target is important?
Target.
Target, customer target is important. Customer target is mu. Instead of using X bar, if you use mu, your new metric will be called CPM. The moment you use mu, CPM becomes a single metric which can talk fully about your process. That is called overall capability index. Maybe when you give 2-3 times read, or if you go through the video 2-3 times, you will be able to better understand and then better use it. Generally, companies don't use this, right? They look at the CPK and then also check it with the target, and then they will be happy about it, right? But CPM, see here, if your CPM becomes more and more, your process is automatically centered. If your CPK is more, are you sure your process is centered on target? Not sure. If my CPK is, let us say 2.22, my CPK is 2.22, all that I want is 1.33, but my CPK is 2.22, but still my process may not be on target. How do I know? When I look at my CP, CP will be more than CPK. CPK is 2.22, but CP is 2.65. What does it mean? My process is not on target. So, in order to overcome everything, if you get your CPM greater, you are sure that your process is on the target with the lower spread. But this is only for your knowledge. You can continue working with CP and CPK. Right. A small case study we'll see. A manufacturer of cable wire want to assess if the diameter of the cable meets the specification. A cable wire must be 55 plus or minus 5 mm in diameter. So what is the target here? 55. What is the USL here? 60.
60,
LSL here? 50.
50.
And this is engineering spec given by customer. An analyst like you evaluate the capability of the process to ensure whether it meets the requirement of a PPK of 1.33 every hour. Every hour. This frequency of sampling is a sampling technique which the company is following. If the process improves, they might reduce the frequency of data collection, right? And take a subgroup of 5 consecutive cable from the population and record the diameter. So let me just explain this case. So again, I visualized the specification width 55, 60, 50, everything is understood, right? And now sample data reveals like this. Customer target is 55. Sample average also 55. Problem is less for you. Problem is less for you. That's what you understand by seeing the process average on the customer target. And standard deviation 1.66. As a result, upper control limit is 60, lower control limit is 50. It leads to a similar situation, right? Which we discussed in the morning.
Right.
Process is just capable. According to normal distribution, I know 99.73% of my data will lie inside 3 sigma limit, right? And now this situation of just capable, it will give you a CP value of 1. Why? CP is specification width divided by process width. How much is your specification width? 10 mm. How much is your process width? 10 mm. So CP equal to 1. So CP equal to 1 means just capable. What is the sigma level now? 3 sigma.
3 sigma.
So there is a relationship between your CP and when my CP becomes 2, my sigma level will be 6. All right, we will understand that. And so this CP is called process capability ratio. Now, are there any rejections? Rejections 0.27 on the right side. CP equal to 1 because my success rate is 99.73, but my rejection is 0.27%. When I produce, let's say 100 unit, it is 0.27. When I produce 1000 unit, 2.7 units, I will get rejected and so on. Fine. But what happens in the long run, my process will shift. Is it possible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like one of you was saying, sir, my process is always on the right side. Yes, it will
Yes.
move. Why? Because the input might change, your operator might change, environmental condition might change, the settings you have given might change, everything might change. Even you might go to some other process. All that can happen. You can't avoid. So there is a possibility that your process can completely shift to the right, can completely shift to the left. This is one way failure can happen. Another way failure can happen is spread will increase. If the spread increases, you will be able to see it with your sigma value. Am I right? If the spread increases, sigma will indicate that.
Yeah.
If the process is shifting, which one will indicate whether your process is shifted or not?
Your central tendency will move.
Beautiful. The average X bar will tell you, X bar will move away from mu, which is customer target. You can understand your process is shifted. You need to take some action. And now the earlier failure rate of 0.27% will now increase. Your central tendency is moved. Your rejection earlier was 0.27. Now it is around 10%. Now it is around 10%. Because it is no more delivering you a result of 99.73. 99.73 will go down and rejection will increase from 0.27 to 10%, 20%, depending on the intensity of the problem. All right. So now that is why looking at CP and taking conclusion can make you go wrong. Even after the shift, you calculate the CP. Do you see any difference?
No, sir.
That means your CP is insensitive to the shifting of the process. It is sensitive only to the spread of the process. It can help you control the spread, but cannot help you control the process shift. So don't believe. Then why should I calculate? It tells me the current potential of my process. CP value of 1 tells me that I can make my process capable, because I know CP value of 1 means success of 99 is possible. That is not happening because of the shifting only. So better metric is CPK. CPK is a division of CP only. I divide the CP into 2. Specification width is divided into half, exact half. 1 half on the right side, 1 half on the left side. If the total specification width is 10 mm, what will be the right side half of the specification width? 5 mm, right? 5 on the right, 5 on the left. How do I get this 5? This USL minus center. Similarly, this side, LSL minus center. So this is called half of the specification width on the right. And similarly, my process width, half of the process width is 3 sigma. So this half divided by 3 sigma is called a CP upper. This half divided by 3 sigma is called a CP lower. If my process is not shifting, this will divide the specification width into equal half, and then I don't see any difference between CP upper and CP lower. Am I correct? If there is no shifting of the process, CP upper and CP lower will give me the same value. This is the ideal condition. But when my process shift to the right, what will happen? Your blue bar will decrease or increase?
Blue bar will increase.
When decrease. When the process move to the right, blue bar will decrease. So if the bar decreases, that's an indication of a problem. If the blue decreases, green will increase. Increasing is is good for me, but decreasing is problem for me. So I should keep my eye on the decrease side or on the increase side. I must keep my eye on the decrease side.
Decrease.
So I change my formula. Minimum of CP upper and CP lower. CPK is minimum of CP upper and CP lower. So I calculate CP upper, calculate CP lower. Whichever is minimum, I will keep an eye there. That is the difference between CPK. If you keep the eye on the risky side, monitor it, control it, you can realize improvement, right? So CPK is the best measure. But under this situation, CP equal to 1, CPK also 1. Am I right? Why both are same? Process is not shifted. Process is not shifted. So it is very good to see CP equaling CPK. Whenever you see CP not equal to CPK, that's an immediate signal that your process is shifted. So action is required. Your process is shifting. That means everything is shifting, right? And now your control limit also moved. And now your left side control limit also comes here. And now your 3 sigma goes that side, right? And now do you see a lot of rejections happening?
Yeah.
Yes, because specification limit is here, but my control limit has gone here. So much rejections happens here. So your yes.
CP and CPK will not be same in this case, I guess.
Definitely. After the shift, it will not be same. So let us calculate it. And now, see here, your CPK has gone down. Since the process is shifted, see here, the right side bar. Okay, I'm sorry here. This shouldn't be upper and lower. This should be other way, right? So let us not look at the calculation. So the right side, when my process shift, let us say by an amount equal to 2.5 mm. So my blue bar will become 2.5. See here, 2.5 divided by my 3 sigma. 3 sigma is 5. So 2.5 by 5, 0.5. But my left side, my green bar will increase. Earlier it was 5. Now it will increase by 7.5. So that will be 1.5. There are two values, but I should take the minimum, which is minimum here, 0.5. So my CPK has now gone below CP. Whenever CPK goes below CP, your process is shifted. With this formula, now tell me, your CPK will have a chance only to go below CP. Am I correct? So your CPK can never be more than CP. Am I correct or not?
Yes.
No, sir,
CPK
but sir,
Yes.
in case if I'm going on 6 sigma, that point of time, even though my upper limit or lower limit is 5.5, but the internal limit that I will set, that will be probably, let's say 3 and 3. So in that case, my CPK will be more than 1. If
No,
the
no, no,
internal,
no. See, what I'm saying is your CPK may be more than 1. I'm saying that your CPK will never be more than CP.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right? That. So CPK is the best measure. Yes, of course. This is the right side bar, 2.5, and this is the left side bar. So 2.5 divided by 3 sigma, which is 5. So we got CPK lower than 1. So this is the, so CPK indicates the real performance. I mean, real capability. All right. For critical processes, 1.66 or 1.67 is recommended for both CP and CPK. But for non-critical processes, 1.33 is recommended. Let us take the painting finish in your car. And I will maintain the CPK of 1.67 as far as the car body is concerned. But for the under chases, can I prefer 1.33? Right? Because that's not that critical for the customer. So whichever is critical to your customer, you must try to maintain higher value. The recommendation is 1.66, and for non-critical 1.33. But it is always good if you maintain 1.66 everywhere. So CPK of 2 means your sigma level is 6. The yield is this much. It means the process spread is low, and at the same time, when your CP, CPK, if both are 1, it means your sigma level is 3, but the yield is 99.73. We have discussed enough about this and aim for higher CP, CPK value. So CP should be more than 1.66. When CP is more than 1.66, can somebody comment what is happening in your process? I am telling you only CP value. I'm not commenting about CPK. What do you understand from the process, seeing only the CP value? Come on, please.
CP value is more than 1.66 means the spread of the process is low.
Is low, very good. Is low.
Low.
That means what? How it matters to your customer? If spread is low, how it matters?
Your control limits may be inside specification limits. Maybe.
No.
The average
Is shifted to the right.
no, you cannot say that too. You can only say that okay, the spread is low, so
That's
the
all.
rejection rate may be. No, that also we cannot say. No.
CP doesn't check the relative position of the control limit with respect to the specification limit. You can't say. When my CP is more than 1.66, I can only say my results are consistent. I can be consistently good. I can also be consistently bad. My results are consistent. I am running a stable process. If I want to make my stable process a good one for my company, good one for my customer, I must look at CPK. Right? Hope all of you understand, right? So if when CP is not 1.66, spread also a problem for you. You may be bad, and now you may be very bad because your spread is also not in your favor, and right, that's the thing. But
Sir, here we can conclude that our process is correct or not, but the consistent intervention is required to control.
Consistent intervention.
Some intervention is required to control.
Yes. Yes. Only thing.
Because any statistics, my process is that consistent. Then, if we are making some intervention, we can control the process.
Yeah. When maybe you are fixing some issues, you are trying to shift the mean, right? You are trying to shift the mean. I mean, process center, you are trying to shift. Thereby, what happens? Your process will now operate within the specification limit. Correct.
Actually, there is no, see, normal condition and experimental condition, control condition and experimental condition. If that deviation is very large, they will come to control condition kind of things. Now this process is consistent means it's going on, but there is a deviation or no deviation, we cannot say, but we can say there may be some intervention. The process is giving some kind of alarm to us.
All right. Anyway, so looking at the CP, we cannot comment about the capability.
Yeah.
Looking at the CP, we cannot comment about the capability. We only understood that the spread is under control.
Control.
Right? And now look, compare the CP with the CPK. If the CPK is equal to CP, how it
Centered.
matters?
It
Yeah.
will be centered.
Is
And
it centered correctly on the target?
target.
Right? If CP equal to CPK, my process is centered on the target. Other, if it is not, then I will understand my process is off-centered. Even if my process is off-centered, still my process may be still capable. It is possible, right? And then we fix CPK 1.66 as the requirement. So if it is more than 1.66, my conclusion is I'm consistently producing great products, right? But if it is less than 1.66, there could be a problem with center or there could be a problem with spread. It takes into account both. Do you now understand how to use CP and CPK? Clear?
Sir, if the CPK is more than 1.66, then I think it may be centered and narrower. Is it possible?
No. CPK more than 1.66 doesn't mean it is centered on the target. It means your results will be accepted by the customer. Still, there is a scope for improvement exists. Why? When my CPK is 1.66, but if my CP is let's say 1.87, what happens?
Yes. Yes, sir.
That means my process is slightly off-centered, but even the off-centering is, I can still tolerate because customer is not going to reject my product.
Within the limits are the.
So if your CPK is not equaling CP, take it granted your process is shifted, right? Shifted from the target. So seeing your CP better than CPK is an indication, is a clue that you can again improve the process. You don't need to settle. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now we'll do a small problem. Maybe this is related to an electronic manufacturing.